What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hawks Nest, where this week we'll be talking about the Week 8 matchup, where our 24th ranked Hawkeyes take on the 3-3 Minnesota Gophers for the Floyd of Rosedale trophy. The game is at Kinnick Stadium. Iowa is a 3.5-point favorite, and the over/under is 32.5. So last week Iowa played Wisconsin. So a little recap. Offensively, LaShawn Williams carried the team. Williams carried the rock 25 times for 174 yards and a touchdown, including an 82-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. Deacon Hill struggled once again in a non-existent passing game. He went 6 for 14 for 37 yards. Defensively, Iowa starting to get their groove back and becoming dominant once again. The secondary led the way, breaking up multiple passes and intercepting a pass. Sebastian Castro was the one who intercepted the pass. The defensive line really carried their weight. They were led by Yaya Black, who had a breakout performance. They held Wisconsin's all-Big Ten running back, Braylon Allen, to only 80 yards rushing. And the defense also forced a safety. But I think personally the real star of the game was Iowa special teams. Drew Stevens made both field goals from 40-48 and made his only extra point kick. But Iowa's All-American punter, Torrey Taylor, punted the ball 10 times for an average of 50.6 yards, including 6 of those within the 20-yard, which helped pin the Badgers deep and held them to only 6 points. So the biggest questions heading into this Minnesota game is this Iowa's offense moving forward? They rushed 48 times versus the Badgers compared to only 14 passes. But if this isn't what they're going to do for the rest of the season, again, it's how do we get Deacon Hill comfortable? He continues to struggle with his touch. He rockets the pass in on everybody. They don't hit their wide receivers in the passing game. It's only the tight end. So how do we get him comfortable while also utilizing the weapons we have around him? So this week, the matchups that I'm looking forward to is Iowa's run game versus Minnesota's run game. Minnesota is known for being a running team, and they've been that way since the early 2000s when they had Marion Barber, Lawrence Mahoney. But this year, they're more of a one-back offense. That back is Darius Taylor. He leads the team with 87 carries, 532 yards, and 4 touchdowns. They have 3 other running backs that have eclipsed the 100-yard mark, and including one that has 200 yards, but Taylor will get a majority of the carries. On the flip side, Iowa's run game has come alive over the last 2 weeks. The Hawks are averaging almost 191 yards on the ground. LaShawn Williams is leading the way, averaging almost 100 yards per game, dating back to when they played Penn State. With Caleb Johnson finally starting to get healthy again from that injury, I'm looking for him to have another big game. So it'll be interesting to see whose run game is better. The second matchup is Cooper DeJean versus Daniel Jackson. Daniel Jackson is Minnesota's #1 wide receiver who leads the team with 286 yards and 5 touchdowns. And I highlighted this because as of lately, the last couple of weeks, Phil Parker has had Cooper play both sides of the field, which is really rare for Iowa defense. They normally, the left corner only plays the left, but he's been having Cooper move to cover their #1. So I'm excited to see what comes about that. And one final thing that I'm excited about is if Iowa finally starts to use Cooper on offense. There's been rumbles that Cooper wants to try to play offense. He was all-state quarterback in Iowa. He played some running back, played some receiver. So I'd be interested to see if they have a few packages where he gets on the field offensively. So some Minnesota players to know. First off is Tyler Nubin. He's a senior safety. He's an all-Big Ten safety and possibly a first-round draft pick in the upcoming NFL draft. He has elite speed for his position and can close the gap fast. While closing the gap, he lights players up. He hits with power, like better than any safety. He's pretty much a clone of Antoine Winfield Jr., who also played at Minnesota, and he leads the Gophers with 3 interceptions. The second is probably my favorite player name-wise on the Gopher. It's Maverick I'm going to mess this up, Baranowski. He is a freshman linebacker. He's very athletic. He credits his athleticism to growing up playing volleyball. His mother played volleyball at UCF. He says that playing volleyball, you have to keep your eye on the ball all over the court, and that helps him at the linebacker position because he doesn't fall trap to all the gimmicks, play actions that the offenses can run. He leads the Gophers in tackles with 42, and he also has a sack to go with. The next one, I'm definitely going to mess up his name, but I had to bring him up. It is Athan Kalikmanis. He is the Gophers sophomore QB. His nickname is the Greek Rifle. He is a prototypical size QB, 6'4", 215. This season, he has pedestrian numbers, only 800 yards and 6 touchdowns, but he also has 6 interceptions to go with it. And if Iowa starts to tend more to shut down the run game of Minnesota, Athan could really become an X factor, and he has the weapons around him where he could sling the ball. So my favorite part of the show is prediction time, and it's that time. And for this game, I'm going to go out and say Iowa wins 17-14. They find a way to keep Floyd in Iowa City and keep the lead in the Big Ten West, which is the more important. I think it's going to be another sloppy, I don't want to say sloppy, but Big Ten game, 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of game with the run game. And I think Iowa's defensive line just makes the tackle for loss or whatever it is to slam the door closed. But with that being said, I appreciate you all for watching, and make sure you follow the CFB Nation on X for all your college football news. And as always, go Hawks.